Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this special countdown to the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby. I'm your host, Earl Based, and joining me is the men's defending champion, Mr. Lamont Marshall. Lamont, first question out of the blocks. Obviously, it's always, as the defending champion of this race, do you feel added pressure heading into the Derby?
Afternoon, yeah, thanks for having me. Yes and no. I would say no, because it's multiple. I've won multiple times. It's all be May 24th. So a small amount of pressure. Most pressure I ever felt, I would say, was 2016, my first win. Having that under your belt, everything else after that is a plus.
Yeah. Um, take us back to that 2016 because you really kind of, that was your coming out party kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was on a high from 2015.
Right.
I broke 30 minutes for 10K Pan Am, so speed and strength. So
Right.
I knew the training program. I just had to try and had to test myself, tentative with a lot of things. Just go to the season, less with marking. My biggest issue was always that May 24th was never at the center of my season. So I've always peaked from January to maybe April. May has always been on the downside. All my national records for indoors are January, February.
Right.
Outdoors, I have one national record in June. All the rest are March to early May. So now that I'm a more seasoned athlete, I actually plan. Like I plan my calendar backwards now, from May
Oh,
24th backwards. So that's the peak in zone. Like all before, I was on tire legs coming in decent, but it wasn't for a half marathon specifically. So with 2016, the focus was on the steeplechase. My first steeplechase, I believe, was late March, early April. I think it was
right.
Florida Relays. Broke 9 minutes, so that was the goal. And it
Uh,
was more or less May 24th was just penciled in there, because it's always it's a calendar event.
yes.
But going into there, I felt more fast and strong. And what I mean by that is now I would do one or two 20 milers. The
Uh,
average long run might be 18. Nowhere near May 24th, months ahead, but that's just the base and foundation.
right.
As to then, it might have been 13 to 15, maybe. So it's specifically shifted from half marathon pace or oriented sort of programs.
Uh-huh.
So that's where it's a huge difference. But with middle distance and long distance is not an exact science, because I remember that season 2015, my mileage might have been maybe 70, 80 miles a week with a 13-mile long one, but I broke 30 minutes for 10K. So I had
Right.
the strength. And then, you go to like times where I would do 90 and I would be doing low 30s
Uh-huh.
for 10K. So I always measure everything with, 5 and 10K. Then you go to the half. So with that, 2016, I definitely felt prepared based off of 2015.
Sure. The Bermuda Day Half Marathon atmosphere is truly unique. How do you harness the energy of the crowd and the significance of the day itself to fuel your performances during the race?
Usually with a watch. I definitely check my watch, because you can feel terrible and
Uh-huh.
you'll be 10, 15 seconds faster. Just like what you said, the cameras, it's a big difference between being in the lead pack and, you're just, it's a bucket list item where you're just trying to finish. It's your first May 24th. Oh, if I just, finish under 2 hours. But when you're in that lead pack, you can hands down go out too fast. You can't lose the race in the first mile. It's physically impossible. You can lose it if you go out too fast. That's
Right.
it. Like if you go out a little bit too slow, you're perfectly fine. You have 12.1 miles to do your thing. And if you remember last year, I really wasn't feeling it
Right.
first couple of miles. So what? Take your time, relax, think about the experience you have, because it's it's the difference between St. George's and Somerset is that you should feel bad coming out of Somerset because you have a lot of inclines and hills. You
Right.
have right, I mean, what, 400 meters into the race, you're coming across, the cricket club,
Yes.
slight incline, go
Incline.
down,
Yes. Yeah.
scour. You don't have the chances to settle down. St. George's, you have the causeway, and I think it's 3 miles of like getting yourself to warm up. So that's
Right.
the biggest issue. Hands down, a lot of people can go out fast St. George's because it's an illusion. You
Yes.
think, okay, this I don't know what all the hype is. This is a flat fast course. And he hit Blue Hole, and it's like, okay, well, so it's yes. Me personally, I mean, I go as far as because we have the GPS watches now. I would check my watch sometimes the first half mile and mile just to make sure do not go out too fast. And it's
Right.
all depending on your body as well, your warm up, how
Yes.
you feel. But for the most part, that adrenaline is just you have to. I personally, me, for a
Hmm.
watch. I just so don't go out too fast. That's
Right.
the biggest thing that I'm thinking about. I don't care who's around me, if I'm in the lead.
Right.
Well, if you want to go out, let's say in your 5:30 pace, you know that's 2:45 for that first half mile.
Hmm.
Hit that, no matter how you feel, and then as you warm up, and you take it from there.
Right. Right. With the unpredictability of the weather, often plays a big factor in the day. What strategies do you have in place to manage potential heat, humidity, even high wind during the race? Because we have that causeway this time around. That sometimes that wind could play a very tricky way in a race, can't it?
Yeah, for me personally, it depends on who I use in the race. Like previously, somebody like Terrence, coming from the East Coast, is not as hot.
Right.
So sometimes you would prefer a hotter temperature from someone who's anyone who's coming from the East Coast in college or who's based overseas is
Hmm.
not going to be as hot. So you can't acclimatize in a week for
Right.
Bermuda rather than humidity. So I would prefer that if it's an advantage for me, because I live, work, train the exact conditions. So I've always preferred the worst conditions in terms of heat, in that whatever I feel, you can multiply it with everyone else.
Sure.
And whenever you have inclement conditions, the you just kind of don't worry about time as much. Like last year, I knew it was going to be a slow race, a slow time. It was hot,
Right.
and so don't worry about the time. I mean, because really and truly, what is time? It's like if you win May 24, you win May 24. It's
Yeah.
it's it's something where it's just about crossing the line. So it's a lot of, with my experience now. My first May 24th was 2001. So
Right.
that's 24 years ago. So
Wow.
I haven't run every year, but I think I've only skipped maybe five. So I've run it, I want to say around 20 times. I know that you do not have to have a great start
Uh-huh.
in order to win that race, because sometimes you just, for some reason, you just have to warm up for it. It's a race of feel. So it's when it comes to the conditions,
Hmm.
just take something off the top. You're not, like you say, you're not going to run fast in the wind.
Right.
Sometimes you might run fast in the heat. It's you're gambling, I would say. I
Yeah.
would say if it's over, let's say 75 degrees, 80,
Hmm.
90% humidity, whatever your first mile pace, you just take something off it. And it all depends. The other person might not be phased at all. So
Right.
it you have to run your race. Now, getting into the race, everyone has let's say, like a mark where they feel, okay, it's no longer my race, I'm
Hmm.
competing, so no gaps. So
Right.
like usually that might be from Somerset anywhere after when you're on Burnt House on Harbor Road, no
Right.
gaps. I don't care how you feel. If somebody takes off, do not let them go.
Right.
A classic example, my brother 2007. They didn't know. I mean, obviously him and I strategized. I mean, big surprise, but it was like
Right.
one of you go, the other one sit back and like kind of hold those guys back so they're shocked in some way.
Right.
And and it wouldn't. I don't think it would have mattered because my brother was always superior as a long distance athlete. Some people like I always put middle distance starts at 800
Uh-huh.
and kind of phases out 5K. 5K is 1 foot in middle distance, 1 foot in long distance. So 5K and up, he was like I was good 5 and 10K
Uh-huh.
technically, but then the half he was a really strong athlete. So when he took
Right.
off, I don't think on that day it wouldn't have mattered anyhow. But that's what I mean. Like a race like that,
Uh-huh.
to tactically, don't let him go. Like he went just before it was um before Inverori, but like that sort of
Yes.
mile 8 area.
Uh-huh.
In terms of tactics, I don't care how you feel, you don't let the person go. So you have to feel the race out and know what you're capable of, because tactics only go so far. If you physically can't keep up with the person, it's no.
Yeah.
So it's definitely feel and experience a portion running your own race and a portion competing.
Sure, sure, sure. Looking back at your previous Bermuda Day half marathons, is there a particular moment or memory that stands out as especially meaningful or challenging? And what did you learn from that experience?
I would say 2019. That's the strongest I've ever been, because I did a 15K in early March, and it just
Uh-huh.
prepares you when you're really focused in on May 24th, calendar wise, and like where you start training. My training season for me is like 6-8 months, so I want May 24th to be like maybe anywhere around fifth month. So start training November, December, and then you
Mhm.
do races that will allow you to specifically dial in during that sort of May season. So 2019, I remember doing, I think it was an indoors overseas, a road race of 15K. And I think I did my last 10K on the track was maybe 5 weeks out, maybe like, I believe, 10 relays. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I got down to like 30-16. I was ready. That was it. And so that was the best I felt mentally going into it, because the strength was there, the speed was there. I think I did like 14 national indoor record. I did 14-16 that year in January, February. I was ready. I knew that I had checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
And so I was literally that came out of St. George's. I was literally able to just come out. It was the first time I actually attacked the race, where I was doing 520s out of St. George's and just comfortable
Mhm.
mentally, like just thinking I know that I've done what I needed, and so that was definitely my strongest victory. A lot of other times, I came short, and I never really stuck to me as much, because I knew that the focus was so track oriented.
Right.
2015, it was almost like that was the worst. Like it was athletically almost like athletic immaturity. I shouldn't have run. It was just bad. I ran. The focus was Pan Am's and Island Games,
Yes.
and I shouldn't have run a half marathon in the middle like that, because then it just ruined everything. Like I did 29:50 in April, early May 3:48 for the 1500. That means I had strength and speed. Two
Hmm.
weeks later, after a 3:48 mile, you're doing May 24th, and I went Island Games and Pan Am, just on horrible legs. And I remember it was I always never forget it. Freddie Evanson, he was like, "Look, we're gonna support you regardless.
Right.
Stick to the track." And it was such a friendly, it was this open disagreement with me. He was like, "Look, the track, man, this is you had everything foundation wise for your going for you."
Right.
But 2015, I hadn't won May 24th, so it
Right.
it was it was just different. Like for me, I was like, hey, look, I'm ready to sacrifice my season for it, and I shouldn't have. It's no way that I should have, because I was doing. I remember I keep a actual physical running ledger, so I
Hmm.
remember the workouts I was doing leading up to the 1500,
Right.
200s, 400s. That's not half marathon training. That
Right.
was short and sharp, and so 2 weeks later, it was. But it's in hindsight, I might say that, but if I would have won, I might have been saying it's the greatest thing I did. So it's
Right.
it's
Right.
but as of now, no, like memories in terms of the best preparation is when you
Mhm.
you measure May 24th back. But I never did that. If you would have told me that from 2012 to 2019, I never would have did it, because I just had so much. I had a lot of really good experiences in the woods and out. I mean, I I personally I always loved national rackets. That was just my thing.
Right.
And so all my rackets came indoors and outdoors from January to May. So I was focused on that. May 24th was always like run it after your track season, and
Yeah.
it's not the best way to prepare. And that's why I feel I've struggled so much in the latter half, because you could see, okay, well, it's fine up until 10, 15K, run the first half, 3 quarters, and then fades bad because half marathon and marathon training is so different. It's long and steady as opposed to short and sharp. So
Right.
but it really builds character, like in terms of athletics, because grind it out. And I think one of the athletes that really suffered really bad with that was Chase Smith.
Yeah.
Has a bad habit of dropping out. Yes. In his defense, he's a really talented half marathon and mile. He's a middle distance athlete. He shouldn't
Right.
drop out.
Right.
He's a Bermudian, so nobody cares about what you do 800 meters. I mean, the average person, do you know what his personal best are? I knew because I was there. Like, he ran 152 indoors, I knew. And like 413, him and I went Boston indoors, and he did the mile, I did the 3K.
Right.
A really talented athlete, but like if his best is the 800 and mile, that's 13 and 26 times his bread and butter.
Yeah.
So if you're not prepared for that, it can come across that it's unfortunate, and a lot of athletes have suffered like that. You have some really talented athletes. Sheldon Thompson struggled. Like he would go out first couple of miles in the lead, and it's our race, so no one cares about what your training's like and how your your outlook of it. It's like, have you won? That's the uniqueness of the race.
Yeah, yeah. Coming out of St. George's, you get the opportunity to run past some of your biggest fans when you're coming off the hill there. After that first experience, because obviously no one would have expected that first experience when you ran through by Hermitage Road when the road kind of closed in on you.
Yeah.
Now that you're coming out of St. George, do you say to yourself, I have to remain calm as I get around? Because you could actually, I mean, the way the excitement gets, you could like overexcite yourself and do something really, really crazy, can't you?
You can, but I mean, like I said, from my first maybe 15 years ago, but no. As of now, you just enjoy it.
Right.
Like it's like up to home turf, and it's all the people, it's your neighbors. So these are the people that see you 5:30 in the morning, during your lunch break, afternoons, evenings, in the pouring rain, when it's too cold for them to get up out of the bedroom to go to the cool bathroom. I'm out there run. They see you, so I'm like, this guy, like, you know what I mean, like that. And so it's like, yeah, I'm born and bred Valley Heights, so this is people who've seen me literally for decades. I'm like, this guy's still going, and it's really great. Like I won't put in a ridiculous surge, and especially not coming through there, especially it's downhill. Gravity do the work, but you hands down enjoy it. That's what makes it May 24th. You pick out your spots where it's just huge crowds, and I embrace it usually just like just head nod. But I usually don't do a whole lot with your hands and stuff because it can take energy, like to what you there. But I've never really did a whole lot of surges during the crowd. Like, yes, in a sense, but nothing that would be just take my whole race from me.
Yeah. Beyond the competition itself, what does participating in the Bermuda Day Half Marathon mean to you personally as a Bermudian athlete?
Everything, and it's no other race ever mattered. I've someone. You might not even get someone as sort of well-rounded in terms of who's done so much. I've competed from the half mile to half marathon. I've done road, indoor and outdoor track, done cross country. I've done a training in Kenya. Like I've represented Bermuda, in a few different things. So I can tell you that it's almost like it's not a race, it's an event of sorts. Like, because a lot of people, I mean, they don't even know that I ran last year. They just ask like during this time, oh, you running you running this year? Did you run last year? I'm like, yeah, I kind of won it. But they don't care. They know that it's May 24th. That's the only thing they care about, and it's embedded in me. Like it's the only race on the calendar that matters. I mean, race weekend is nice. We have the international athletes, and that flair of you can pick anything from a mile to a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else matters, man. It's just, and it is intertwined with its culture, its tradition, its athletics. So that's the only race that really does all three.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to wish you all the best. Come, what is it? 2 weeks Friday, right?
2.5, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you, thank you.
all the best. Have fun out there. Enjoy it. You
Yes,
always seem to enjoy it. So yeah, I want to
yes,
wish you all the best and have a lot of fun defending your title.
yes. All right, thanks a lot.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.